Today we will be going on a journey through time and space. Well, a metaphorical one if anything. Today we will be looking at the life and times of one of science fiction's greatest champions. We'll be looking at John Campbell. John W. Campbell was born June 8, 1981 in Newark, New Jersey. He was an American science fiction writer and later editor for one of the greatest science fiction magazines of the time. During his short 61 years of life, he helped shape science fiction into what it is today and began the golden age of science fiction. Let's take a look at how one man could accomplish this. Campbell was very keen on science, even at a very young age. He did not, however, begin his love of writing until he went off to university. While at MIT in Massachusetts, he began writing some short stories for a magazine called Amazing Stories. They published in total 13 of his entries, including 6 short stories that he wrote that were canonical. They changed. He had become a well-known pulp writer by the age of 21. He failed out of MIT, though, and simply decided to graduate from Duke University with a Bachelor's of Science in Physics instead. His works were the first ones to actually depict computers of any kind, if that's an interesting fact. At the time, technology was just beginning to become the monster that it is today, making it ripe ground for a fantasy setting like this, as people really couldn't imagine what technology would be like in the future. In 1937, Campbell was appointed to editor for the Astounding Stories, a career position he would maintain until his death. He wasn't content to just sit back and edit, though. He wanted more. His hiring brought to the magazine a treasure trove of ideas, as well as an almost insatiable desire to raise standards in sci-fi writing and thinking. New writers were encouraged and almost coached by Campbell to write successfully. At least successfully in terms of his views. By 1939, he discovered more fundamental writers in science fiction, such as Isaac Asimov, Theodore Sturgeon, and L. Ron Hubbard. Also, yes, that is the same L. Ron Hubbard as from Scientology, which is totally a religion that exists, and is believed to be the truth by many. Anyways, together these writers were the core foundation for the golden age of science fiction, and it helps become the beloved thing that it is today. Throughout his writing, many themes were almost always present. The main ones were a shift from a gizmo that humans invented to more of a human-centered piece about human-gizmo interaction. Kind of like 2001: A Space Odyssey, if you've ever seen that, or more recently, WALL-E by Pixar. His works focused on many of the other themes inside just the human-centered one. For example, in his most famous work, which we'll talk about in a bit, you'll see he focuses on isolation, paranoia, and alien invasion as the groundworks for his gripping journey, showing the human-centered emotions along with the inventions, technology, how we interact. Okay, so the work we'll be reviewing of his, that throughout a series of internet searches and mentions, I've concluded is his most famous work, is called Who Goes There? Question mark. A chilling story of an Antarctic research team discovering a spaceship containing an alien creature of some kind. After reanimating it, it transformed itself into one of the crew members, sparking paranoia that their friends might not be themselves anymore. Ooh, spooky, huh? Well, at the time it was pretty revolutionary anyways, even if the trope has almost been overused at this point in horror movies. So my interpretation, huh? It's got tension, drama, paranoia. It's a good story, and it's all wrapped in the blanket of something we can all intrinsically understand, but with something in the background, something alien to us, something we don't like. It's very good. It's a shockingly grim reminder that we may be searching the stars for life, even today, and something out there might be setting its sights on us, and looking for us as well. So my thoughts are that it was amazing. It was a shocking deviation from the millions of others who've obviously felt the same way over the years, leading it to its title of one of the greatest science fiction pieces of the time. After a bit more internet research, and obviously by that I mean reading reviews on Goodreads, I have quite the mixed bag of opinions. People are still saying it's a great literary work like I have. People are also saying that it's a pile of verbal garbage. Here, I'll read one quote. I can't understand how terribly this thing was written. While the premise was interesting enough to create a classic, this original story fails on all levels. The characters are flat and interchangeable, changing their minds in mid-sentence and wandering through tangential info dumps and speculations that come out of nowhere. Even stage direction is so lacking that you can't tell what's happening. People appear and disappear from scenes, dropping in and out at the whims of the author between snippets of indecipherable action. The story could be an excellent teaching tool in any class on fiction writing, as its necropsy could likely identify all the horrible mistakes any budding writer could make. I'm flabbergasted. Thank you, Brian. Your insights are helpful as always. Well, that's roughly the gist of every negative argument I could find, so I thought publishing it fully would help with understanding the text. Well, now we got a little bit of a look at the man and his works, but what really defines an author is the legacy that it leaves behind for others. To that end, we mosey along to... Yes, we have contributions to society. To that end, John Campbell's legacy as the greatest editor have come on into the future, it seems, with the John W. Campbell Award. This honor is bestowed to the best science fiction novel of the year and is one of the 3 major annual awards for science fiction. The Campbell Award is selected by a distinguished committee, small enough to discuss among its members all of the nominated novels. In this way, we'll have a lot less bickering over the fine print of a text and more of a small jury of editors like what Campbell would have had back in his offices. Along with that award, he also left behind the John W. Campbell Award for Best New Writer. This is an award given annually to the best new writer whose first professional work of science fiction or fantasy was published within the 2 previous calendar years. Encouragement for new writers. Campbell surrounded himself with writers, new and old, who distinguished themselves to him as amazing minds in science fiction. This award encourages everyone to go out and give it a try in the name of progress of writing as a whole. But not only did he leave his legacy in these timeless awards in his name, he reinvented the style of science fiction. Before him, every writing was pulp writing, or writings best known for their lurid and explorative stories and sensational cover arts. They were basically the equivalent of 50 Shades of Grey today. Quick writings that sold like wildfire. No real innovation. Campbell dreamed big. He literally dreamed of the stars and the future of our world in his outlooks, envisioning where we would be in the universe. I would look at his contributions to future writers and say to myself, these are truly honors worthy of someone known as the father of science fiction. I believe he would be proud of the things that he was able to accomplish, even in his short time. Alright, so the last real thing we have to cover is to do with the book, Lexicon. While it was technically a forced read, I would honestly say that everyone should go out and read this freaking fantastic thriller. And I don't usually like reading books. They're boring. Anyway, what we need to do is compare how well the character of John Campbell stands up in the book to his real-life portrayal. Starting in Part 2, Chapter 1, we find the introduction and termination of the character. A 21-year-old technology whiz kid, specializing in the new field for poets of web development. He specialized in defensive compromising, boasting that he could never be compromised by anything. Unfortunately for him, the bear word turned out to be universal, destroying his mind and forcing Elliot to shoot him in the head. Now, this character is shockingly similar to his real-life portrayal of Campbell. Campbell really was a massive nerd, specializing in a new and budding field. But instead of getting to play with the futuristic technology, he only got to dream and write about it. In the end, they both ultimately died of their own hubris, with the real Campbell dying of heart failures probably linked to all the cigarettes that he smoked every day for mental clarity in his writings. Another funny little tangential side note, Max Barry, the writer, was actually nominated for the John W. Campbell Award for Best Science Fiction Novel of the Year back in 2014. He lost to Strange Bodies in the end, but still, funny little connections between everything, you know? Well, I guess that will about do it then, won't it? Hopefully we've all learned a little something about the past of science fiction through one of its greatest writers. We hope you enjoyed our little program. And remember, live long and prosper. Thank you. Also, The next time you're watching any science fiction, make sure you thank John Campbell. He is the one who influenced all of modern science fiction. Respect him. Okay, bye.